Hi there. Today it's going to be a potato review of second year TPS plants. Last year I grew the Kefermarkter Zuchtstamm F1 mix too close to each other, so I wasn't able to look through the potatoes, and I was keeping some of the more interesting looking tubers and planted them this year into a bed where I was keeping the spacing reasonably wide so I could tell which potatoes belonged to which plant, at least in most cases. And now I dug them up, and there's some that performed really well. This one, for example. But what I found really interesting is that none of these potatoes had scab. That's really good. And the second thing I found interesting is I got plenty of wireworms in my garden, and some of these potatoes had bad issues with wireworms, while others didn't, and they were grown on an area of maybe 3 by 3 meters, so they were growing really close to each other. And I'm wondering why some of them are so attractive to the wireworms while others are not. So I already cut them open, and you can see there's some that are very pale pink. Others have more cherry red colors in different distributions. That one is kind of interesting because it has a pale core while the outer edge is more colored. Most times you will get to see something like this, where there's a pale ring around the edge of the potato and the color is in the center. But this one is exactly the opposite. And there's some medium reds and some really dark reds. So this is a wide distribution of different red colors. This one is kind of neat too, because around the, let's see, what's it? Yes, around the tip of the potato, it's really dark colored, and the bottom where the root feeding it was attached has kind of more white color inside. These TPS plants have a tendency to make long potatoes, and there you can see the wireworm holes, so these won't keep too well, the ones with the holes. It's really important to have a good look at them before storing any of these. What's making it kind of difficult to decide which ones to keep? And my strategy is to go by category. I like the bright colored ones because they hold up the color when cooked. The pale ones most likely fade out and they're like a yellow or white potato when cooked, so with a slight hint of pink maybe, but once they're cooked the color fades out on most of those. So first category, those I won't keep, those which are not going to look attractive once cooked. So these ones are no keepers. Now we're left with this pile. The random potatoes that were growing far away from plant, where I couldn't tell to which plant they belong. No keepers. Then the ones with really tiny harvest. After all, I want to eat something when I grow it. So, tiny harvest ones. Nope. And nope. So, then we are left with these. This one had kind of a small harvest. And 2 holes from wireworms, and this one had more holes from wireworms. I really like the color, but has to go anyways. So now it's getting harder. That's 2 big potatoes, so the weight of the harvest isn't too bad, but come on, 2 potatoes. No, not keeping this one. And here we get another pink one. So no keepers. Don't worry, I don't throw them away. The badly damaged ones will go to the chickens and the ones that I cut up. So, and the other ones I will still eat, but they're not going to be kept. Then this one has a small harvest, but a nice color. No, not keeping it. I moved them closer to each other now, and there are quite some similar ones. and it's 3, 5, 7, 9 that are still left. I am keeping this one for sure because it has the best harvest. No wireworm damage to speak of, maybe 1 or 2 that have little holes. The color isn't the best one, but it's not bad. It has really deep coloration in the middle of the potato, so that should be enough to give it an attractive look once it's cooked. Then I will keep this one for sure. I really like the shape, and it's a neat feature that they are very deep colored in the top of the potato and the ends are a little bit more white. That's kind of cute. I have seen the same feature here. There's also the top of the potato is deeper colored than the end of the potato, and it is able to make quite big potatoes, also nice shapes. So I'm going to grow that one again, and these ones have bat holes. That's not a wireworm, not sure what was eating on this one. I really like the odd shape. Might be interesting, but it seems to be very yummy to the wildlife. So I'm probably not keeping it. No, not a keeper. The pile is growing. And here we get one with a really nice color, but you can already tell the bad problems it had with the wireworms and other things eating away on it. All these little marks are holes from wireworms. So this one was eaten quite badly. Not a keeper. I'm sorry. It's been pretty. But it's not so pretty when you cut them open and try to cook them and find lots of little holes that are rotting away. What's with this one? Not looking too bad. These ones not looking too bad either. Nope. Not a keeper. So I think that's the ones I'm going to keep. So they will go into their third growing year. But six potatoes, 6 potato varieties will make it into their third year. I will write up some notes so I remember which ones had which color, how they cook up, if they're, I think this was a line which produces mostly non-starchy ones. These were mostly salad ones, so I don't think any of them are starchy. And that's also a good shape for salad potatoes, because when you have long potatoes, you can just make slices and have a nice size for potato salad, while the round chubby potatoes don't look as nice in salads, because you have them to cut them up in a different way, and it just doesn't look as neat as long varieties that are a little bit more narrow. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found it interesting to see how I decide which ones are keepers and which ones aren't. Bye.